This video will go over the comparison of protons, neutrons, and electrons, and information can be found on page 137 and 140. And I'm also going to give you some hints. So using these hints and the reading, you should be able to figure all of these notes out. Okay, location. You're going to either choose the nucleus or the electron cloud for all three of these. And then after you figure out which is which, you're going to cross them out in your word bank. So nucleus will be used, little hint, that's going to be used twice, and then electron cloud is right here, and that's going to be also marked out. The charge, it might help to, I should have put the word relative charge. And if you look at the chart on page 137, you will see the relative charge of protons, neutrons, and electrons. One will be neutral, one will be positive, and one will be negative. The relative mass is also in that same chart. And I'll go ahead and give you a hint because I really want you to think about this. They're going to say that the electron is 1. It's just a random number that they're assigning. And whatever these numbers are, that's how many times more massive protons and neutrons are compared to electrons. So I want you to think about that as you write it down. What are they responsible for? The protons are responsible for what the element is. What is it? Because if you change the protons, you no longer have that element anymore. So looking at your word bank, decide what word would answer the question, what is it? What word represents that? And there's a couple of terms that aren't really explained very well in the reading, so I'm going to give you a couple of free ones. The neutron is responsible for stability in the nucleus. So you can cross that out. And electrons, because they have a charge, they are responsible for charge. But they're also responsible for chemical properties. And you're not going to see that in the word bank, but that's going to help you answer another question later. What's formed if the number of this particle changes? All of these are a new something. So I'm going to let you fill in the first one. That one should be pretty easy. If the neutrons are changed, that's called a new isotope. And if the electrons are changed, that's called a new ion. So you should be able to figure out what the proton is pretty easily now. And the type of change, this one is, you're not going to fill that one out. One of these is a chemical change, and one is a nuclear change. And I want you to think about the proton and the electron. Which one is in the nucleus, so which one would give you a nuclear change if you change it. And then you're also going to use that clue that I told you about a little bit before to help you make this decision. Now I'm going to give you a few hints for the bottom of these notes. And to start, this is pretty much review for what you already did at the top. You're going to tell which two particles are found in the nucleus and which one is found in the electron cloud. And once you do that, you'll mark those out, because the key to this is eliminating your choices. The description of mass. We have two choices about mass: almost no mass and almost all the mass. Those are the two that are going to go here in description of mass. So you want to think about, where were the heaviest particles? Were they in the nucleus or the electron cloud? and then you'll be able to decide which the nucleus or the cloud gets almost no mass or almost all the mass. And then finally, description of space and density. You're going to put 2 in for each of those. And I'm going to give you a couple hints. The book says about nucleus, it says that it's very concentrated in the nucleus. And there's also a picture on page 137 that will help you decide. And so one of these, the 2 that go together are not dense at all and mostly empty space. So which part of the atom is best described with those 2? And then the other 2 go together. So which one occupies very little space, however, the mass in that little space is very dense.